All right. So like I said, we won't take more than 20 minutes. That's all we'll need to go through this anyways. And then I'll tell you guys what I expect on Monday, what we need for Monday. But let me just share this real quick. Okay. So vinyl window problems we're going to look at first, okay? And we're literally going to go through pictures of these windows and what kind of issues can happen because of the fact that they're vinyl. We're going to talk about what we talked about yesterday, but I'm going to show you examples of it, examples of the actual problems that we talked about yesterday. So diving into that, all right, this first picture that we're looking at right here, it's not really showing you problems. Obviously, it has big letters in front of it that say 7 problems with vinyl windows. Now, that is a YouTube video. Here's the deal. I would suggest going to watch it. Okay. First of all, any information that you can get, I haven't seen that video yet. I'll go watch it after this as well. But I would suggest you go watch it. It can't be that long. It's 7 problems with vinyl windows. It can't be that long. Okay. But I would definitely suggest going to watch that. This right here, this window is the first one that we'll go over. Okay. This guy, the Chicago window expert or whatever, he's actually really good. He's got a couple good videos online as well. That that are worth going through. But the things I want to point out here, you see the extreme discoloration in the windows, okay? And you can even see that from this view, okay? If you look over here, look at the discoloration in there, the change in product color. When this window was installed, and this window is probably not that old, it's probably 10 years old, something like that. When this window was installed, though, this was a very sharp white color, guarantee it, okay? A very sharp white color. There wasn't the issues that you see now today with this. Okay, it was. I guarantee you that it was a very very sharp window when it was first installed. What do I mean by that? Vinyl windows have a very shiny white look, a white veneer. They're plastic, right? So you think about again, like I said, white plastic lawn furniture or something like that. It's just going to have a certain shine to it. This doesn't have that. The oxidation has started, and so the windows started to break down, and that's why you see the difference in the coloration in the window itself. Now, right here, you can start to see too remnants of what could be mold growth. That's not mold right there. But as I said, these are made out of petroleum. Once the protective film, especially, is gone, you're going to start to have dirt that just won't come off. This looks like it's been recently cleaned. And that's why I say that, because look at the dark colors down here. All right. Looks like that's probably not coming off. Okay. So the next thing I want to point out is that this is heat welded, and you can see that right there, right where my mouse is, right here. And so remember, we talked about the mortise and tendon in our window and how the vinyl window is heat welded right there. And then we talked about the weep holes right here. Okay. The weep holes right here. Now, that looks like it was cut in the window afterwards. It just doesn't look clean. I don't know if that's because of the window itself or if it's because of the manufacturer. But that hole that's there right now, that actually I can tell you that was cut into the window. Here's how I know that. Look right here. This is interesting. I just noticed this. Right here, that is the actual weep hole. Okay. That is the actual hole that's meant to drain the water out from the window. It has the little flaps on it. Okay. I guarantee you this was not working. And so that, I mean, it says right here, seam between the brick molding of window frame. This is the point of water entry and requires a continuous sale. So I guarantee you that this weep hole is not working. It's not emptying water. And so they had to cut a separate weep hole in here, which is now not working. That's why this guy says that the house is taking water. So what you want to look at is look at the frames of the window, okay, and the framing of the window. That's going to rot oftentimes because water is coming through the vinyl, okay, and into that area there, and that's going to cause rotting in the wood frame around the vinyl window. Okay, so vinyl windows are just kind of like nightmare windows, you know. Over here, picture I want to point out over here is this one here. This is so these you might go, that's not a window. What is that? These are all different pieces of vinyl windows. So basically, what they did was they took a vinyl window and they must have cut it into pieces to show what those pieces looked like on the inside. Remember, I talked about vinyl windows in our windows being hollow, and so they would gather mold and dirt and things like that. This shows you what I'm talking about. That mold and dirt gets inside of the window and actually can start to build up inside of the window. And that's what you're looking at right there. Besides that, you'll notice right here, unless you zoom in, you probably can't see it. But if you notice right here, there's a crack there. Okay. And that's because that window was never fully completed. Like there was always a seam left there, which allows for water entry into the home and into the frame. All right. And then you can see pretty distinctively that there is the weather stripping is messed up and there is mold growth on this this vinyl window down here. Okay. All right. Fog and condensation. Okay. Condensation. This is not, so there's a difference between condensation in the glass and condensation on the window. This is condensation on the window. What this means, if you see this, is that the heat from the inside is interacting with the cold from the outside. Okay. Or vice versa. And that's why you have that condensation and fog on the outside panes of glass. Okay. So on the outside panes of glass, if it's in between the glass like this, that's in between the glass, that means that there's a broken seal. Okay. And moisture has got inside of that broken seal. That's what that means. If you're saying something, I cannot hear you. Yes. From the other room there. Second. Okay. So that's in between the panes of glass is condensation and fog. So when a vinyl window warps, the sail breaks and moisture gets inside, causing condensation and fog in the glass, just like that. Okay. That window is not energy efficient anymore. It's going to be drafty. It's not energy efficient anymore. Okay. This window right here, I talked to you guys about this yesterday, but warping in the window, it doesn't take a lot. This is that middle part I was talking about. Okay. What's happened here is that middle piece has bent down. All right. The house is probably settled as well and pushed that. This is a 2-year-old vinyl window, a 2-year-old vinyl window. Okay. And there's a gap right there. That gap or that warping, that's going to cause a gap that's going to make the windows not energy efficient. Okay. There's a guarantee that that window will not be energy efficient. A guarantee. Okay. Okay, so this is just some kind of this is a Pella article. Okay, Pella, the ones that just settled a $91 million class action lawsuit against them because their windows rot, whatever. But they are actually a decent window company. Okay, but if you look at this window right here, guys, what you see is, let me zoom in. It's a good window to look at, although really a pain to do this on these pages. Okay, so okay. So even with their window, you can see a couple things. All right. So here's the thing. So this is a vinyl window in a wood frame. Maybe it's just a wood window, like a newer wood window. When I say newer, I mean like 20 years old. But it looks like it's some sort of vinyl or metal inside of a wood frame. You can see that the frame is completely rotted out. Okay, all down the bottom. Okay, so that's what's going to be the first indicator that there's a problem. Okay, now obviously you can see this from the exterior of the home, no problem. Okay, so you're going to notice stuff like this all the time. But there is something to be said about a window just not being good. I don't see glass impaction. I don't see fog in the glass. I see a terrible frame with a lot of rotting. Okay, I see mold and discoloration / wear and tear in the corners and edges of this window, and it's probably warping a bit as well. I can also tell that looks like they tried to put something here maybe to make it so that the cold air wasn't flowing through. All right, now if you look at the Pella option, the Pella window there. I don't know why it's doing that now, but the Pella window, if you look at it, lost a lot of glass space. Okay, so that's the one thing I want to point out there. Look at how much glass loss is there during that replacement. Okay, that might seem like a full frame replacement. It's not. They just capped off the old stuff. Okay, maybe they replace, hopefully they replace rotted wood, but they just capped off the old shit, and that's what's right there. Okay. All right. Next picture. Nope, there was a different one. Nope. That one's a little bit worse. Okay. So this is condensation on the inside of a window again. Okay. This is, you can see that right here, there is a bit of mold starting to grow because that condensation that's coming into the home. Okay. All right. So that's what that is there. Let me see. Okay, here's a good one. This is extreme mold because that same problem. Okay. Extreme mold because that same problem. That again, like there's no, you can only clean that so many times. That's going to keep getting like that. And it's going to grow into the inside of the window too. And you actually see that starting to grow. It looks like almost in between the panes of glass. So that's a severe problem. That's not something that you can just fix. And that's it for those. Anybody have any questions on vinyl windows? Trying to breeze through this as quick as possible. Okay. All right. Let me get these wood windows up here. So I'm just trying to figure out best way to do this. Okay. Here we go. Got it. All right, cool. Our last bit. Okay. Rotting wood windows. Okay. So a little bit more straightforward. Okay, is the wood windows. All right. We talked about this yesterday. They're the problems. There's less overall problems, being like less like amount of problems, but there's the problems are definitely, I would say it's fair to say that they're more severe in a lot of ways. Okay, so right here you see rot, dry rot right in the sill there. I mean, water is going to go directly into that. You can see, and so that's just going to continue to rot out regardless. That's there's no return on that. You can't just fill that with like a some sort of putty or something like that, and then just like it's fine. It's just not going to happen. It's just not a good window. Okay. Um, and you can see that looks like there's moisture on the glass too, probably because of the difference between temperature in the inside and outside of the window. All right, this is severe rotting going on the sash, which you just don't see that often on the actual sash itself. So that's the actual window itself. And you can see that this is a single pane window. This is where the glass connects to that window. And so you see some severe rotting and discoloration. You want to look for wood discoloration like this. That's going to tell you rotting exists, not just paint peel. Okay. Um, the rotting is obvious here. Yesterday, I talked about storm windows. If you guys remember, this is a storm window. The metal casing over the windows, that's a storm window. Okay. Um, and I'll make sure that I make a note to show you guys that before we get done to those closer. But I said yesterday that with storm windows, a lot of the time the water gets caught inside of the storm window and it rots out the sill. That's what you're seeing here. This is all rotted out because of that storm window. Okay. Um, you see rotting here and just, I mean, rotting, paint peeling. This, was, I guarantee that someone said, okay, let's just make this look as good as possible because this is somebody puttied this and tried to clear it up, but it obviously didn't work out very well. It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Just not a good product at all. Um, Let's see if I can find a good single pane picture. Okay. All right, this is a single pane window right here, and you can tell that it's one piece of glass. Okay, so I'm gonna point that out. There's obvious mold growth there. Windows like that are not gonna open and close properly. That's gonna be a problem that comes up pretty frequently with something like that. Okay, and so wood windows. I mean, guys, the problems are extremely clear on wood windows. It's just that there's less wood windows out there now than there was before. Okay, this is severe rotting underneath an aluminum. That would have been an aluminum capping. Okay, rotting from the wood window got inside of that and rotted it from the inside out. So now that person goes to explore their windows, by the way, too, that are not probably not that old. This is actually, I tell you, this is actually an old Andersen window. That's kind of cool. So this is an old Andersen window from back in the day. So it's a vinyl clad window, okay, which we'll go through at a later date. The end caps on these windows were never they were treated, but they were never closed off. And the contractors were supposed to close them off. That was part of their deal with Andersen. And so what happened was they went and installed like, I don't know. I mean, a lot of they went and did a bunch of houses. Let me get to this part. So they did all these windows. Okay, Pella did, or I'm sorry, Andersen did back in the day. All right, and then they started to experience. They said, okay, the contractor should be responsible for continuing to treat the windows or the customer. So they did these end caps that were exposed. I don't know why they did. I mean, I know why they did it, but it was just a stupid idea. The wood would rot out underneath it, and all these Andersen windows had a bunch of rotted wooden frames. Okay, but they weren't the window issues. They weren't window problems. Okay, they were problem with the frame. So technically, they were not liable for it. Not like with Pella with their rotting issue, which I'll go over in a second. But it still wasn't a great scenario, a great situation for the company. Definitely. So let me see if I do this. Hold on one second. I want to show you one thing on Pella windows. So Pella. Okay, so let me see here. So Pella settled a big class action lawsuit a couple years back because they were rotting before the warranty was up. So basically, what happened was, um, some people went and they checked their windows. They were cleaning them, and they realized that the cleaner was going inside of the windows. Now these are all metal windows that they're called an aluminum clad window. So they have metal around them, and then they have the wood on the inside, and the metal's wrapped around the wood. So the water was getting underneath the metal and rotting the wood out, and that's what you see here. Severe rotting because of that. So they ended up getting sued because it was within warranty, and they stopped covering warranties because they just couldn't cover all the warranties. So they ended up getting sued and settling out of court for I think 30 something million from that lawsuit. So this is also same kind of problem. This is the interior of a house, and the same issue. All that black down there, that's all mold. And this is on the inside of a house. So that again, that water would have seeped in and then seeped through the bottom, and then that's what you're looking at here is that rotting. So you can take care of your house as much as you want, but then something like that happens, and it's awful. Okay, so these are different pictures with the windows, guys. My suggestion is, as an assignment, is to go and here I'm going to stop this YouTube video.